You're in the rant wormhole where I rant about whatever my $15 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. Today's rant is brought to you by, I keep saying today's, I mean, these are all going to be released probably on the same day. This one is by Soren Danikis. Rant about the game Osu. If you do not have anything to say about that game, then please rant about the school system you went through. I feel like I could rant about the school system I went through all day, every day for the rest of my life. But the game Osu, I played a bit of it for a while. It's not easy, especially if you're trying to play it with like a mouse. My brother Shade got way into playing the game on like a little mini tablet, and he would just always be sitting around playing like high level Osu in his room. But he would just play the same few songs over and over again that like were the right combination of being fun to play and song he liked. Because that was always what was difficult for me to find. Even though there were tons and tons of songs that you could download, most of them are anime songs. Not all of them have good bitmaps, beat maps rather. Like, you're not gonna get all your favorite songs. You're gonna get the songs that are, that people wanted to make beat maps out of, and like some of them are really ill. And like Shade would always be playing the fucking Ich Nissan Chigo Hatten song from K-On, which was a lot of fun. And I loved the World God Only Knows beat map because it just like matched the tone of the song really nicely and like was really fun to watch be completed. But like I said that one time in a video, and then some dude made like a whole fucking video about like how people are wrong about how they gauge what's good about Osu beat maps, and like fucking quoted me saying that as an example, even though I have like the most cursory knowledge of the game, and was just like saying that this beat map was cool, like not for any technical reason, but just because I like it, because I like the song a whole lot and thought it was cool. But like, but yeah. Anyway, so. The game is too hard for me to play on more than like the most, like like the intro to intermediate level. Like what would be on Guitar Hero? It would be like if you played on medium mode, but you could only play like up half the fucking the song roster. Like I'm not good. And there just weren't enough songs that I wanted to play over and over and over again for me to get good at the game, in the way that I've done with Guitar Hero. And even then, like, I've never been able to get amazing at Guitar Hero because the biggest thing holding me back is, like, I get tired of hearing the few songs I actually like in the game, and want to hear 1,000 million times. But anyway, so I guess I'll talk about my school since I ran out of things to say about Osu. I went through just, the basic elementary school, middle school, high school system in the U.S., but I switched schools. I think I counted it recently at like 15 times or some crazy shit like that, because my family moved all the time when I was growing up, and I also got transferred in and out of schools, like, regardless of that. So, like, I remember going to, like, various what is it called? Not before preschool, you would be at a daycare. I went to various daycares because like my parents had moved a few times. There's one where like I pissed myself at nap time or something, and like they handled it really poorly. Like they were like really mad at me, and my parents thought that was unreasonable, so they just put me in a different daycare. Like so I went to a bunch of those. I went to preschool, and like I already knew how to write the alphabet, like, before then. And I remember, like, learning, like, by the time I was done with preschool, I could pretty much read and write on a basic level because, I just watched a lot of Sesame Street and was always, like, fucking trying to write shit. So, so then I think I just went to, like, a pretty standard preschool, but it felt like a full classroom. And then I went to a kindergarten when I lived in a ghetto area, but I don't really remember it being a particularly ghetto school. I don't remember much about it, other than that it was school. It was as basic as it gets. Then I switched in the first grade, went to a different school, and I don't remember anything about it. And then I went to a different school in the second grade, and all I remember about it was that I got into Pokemon at the end. Like, school was like a blur every single time because I would just move somewhere and like have to deal with like a totally different curriculum, and like it wasn't so bad if I moved, in between the school years. Then it was just like, I start up second grade and I learn whatever this school teaches you at second grade. Sometimes I learned the same shit multiple years in a row. Sometimes there'd be shit I never learned because you were supposed to learn it at this point, and I switched schools halfway through the year, and the other school had done it earlier. So like my education is just like a weird, wonky clusterfuck of like different schools learning, techniques, and then like it gets to a point where I start transferring in the middle of school years, and that's where things become a fucking nightmare because like when I started the third grade, I went to a gifted school. Like I was in a gifted program in second grade, went to a gifted school in third. That was a very different experience, and I didn't know anybody, and I hated it there, and I wanted to fucking kill myself. And then in the fourth grade, I like was getting bad enough grades that we just basically sent me back to public school. But I was like one of a bunch of people to fail out of that class, and the teacher got fired. So like, it was just like a bad environment in general, I guess. So like, I went back to public school, and did fine. But then we moved again, so I went to a middle school for like just a couple weeks in Florida, before I moved back to Virginia, and then like fucking went to several middle schools. I went to very briefly to like a really nice high school for the first like month that I started high school. Then we moved to the ghetto, and I went to a terrible high school. And then where like they were legitimately more concerned about like keeping kids off the streets than they were about like education. Like the main purpose of that school was to give like inner city kids something to be doing throughout the day. So like, and they had like a 1/3 graduation rate or something like that, maybe less. So yeah, not a great school. And then I transferred to like a regular ass school that was like pretty laid back, and rode out the rest of my days there. So like, having gone to so many fucking schools, I feel like there's very little consistency in their quality. Like it really depends on like how old is this school, how old are the teachers at this school, like is this do they like care, is there like do the kids care, do the kids live in an area where like they like school is just not a big enough concern for them that they can take it as seriously, like is school like is it really looking out for everybody, or is it just like trying to scrape by and get the best of the best, like up to the next level? Like it's a huge fucking waste of time. I'm just trying to get like I have such a discombobulated jumble of complaints about school in my mind that I don't really know where to begin. So that's it for this rant, because it's already long.